Do you guys remember how last week Steve Bannon was being interviewed and they were asking him about the whole Trump 2028 thing? And he said, yeah, we have a plan. And when the time becomes appropriate, we'll lay out the plan. But there is a plan. And then the woman who was interviewing him, she said, well, what about the 22nd Amendment, aka 2 terms? And he said, Trump is going to be president in 2028 and people need to get comfortable with that. And he was like 100% serious when he said that. So of course that got my mind to thinking, y'all, well, raise your hand if you want to hear my working theory about how I think they're going to try to get there. Step 1, the ideology. Steve Bannon, Leonard Leo, and the Federalist Society, they all call themselves originalists. That means that they want the Constitution interpreted exactly as it was written in 1787. No modern updates, no evolving meaning. Their goal isn't just about winning elections. It's to lock in permanent power under a biblically ordered America, aka one that cannot be voted out. Step 2, the power rebuild. Trump's second term wasn't about governing. As you can see, it's about demolition. Bannon called deconstructing the administrative state. Enter Project 2025, and that book basically lays out how to turn the presidency into a unitary executive, meaning total control over every federal agency. It means that agencies like the EPA and DOJ are no longer independent, and we can see that that has already happened. Tens of thousands of career experts gutted and replaced with loyalists, check, check, check. And that means that every decision from voting rights to environmental rules would come from the Oval Office. It means that judges and the executive concentrated power at the top. They make the rules now. Guys, raise your hand if you see any of these things happening. Step 3, electoral engineering. While DC's over here arguing and we're all focused on the White House, the real power grab is happening at the state level. GOP-led legislatures are rewriting election laws under the name of election integrity. And so guys, you have the Congress, right, which has the House and the Senate at the federal level, and then every state also has their own little Congress, right, their own little House and Senate. Now, we all know that Trump's been out here asking them to aggressively gerrymander in states like Texas and Florida, guaranteeing more seats before anybody votes. And then, of course, you're all aware of what's getting ready to happen with the Voting Rights Act when the Supreme Court no doubt sides with Trump and they gut the majority-minority seats, aka handing about 20 seats to Republicans indefinitely. But guys, those rules, the gerrymandering and the Supreme Court decision won't just affect the seats at the congressional level, federal level. They will also apply to state level seats, aka minorities will be gerrymandered out of even being able to represent themselves at the state level. Add to that new voter ID laws, fewer drop boxes, and voter roll purges, and the deck is pretty much pre-stacked. But everybody knows all of this so far. Here's the part that no one's saying out loud. Step 4, the amendment route, and how they actually could repeal the 22nd. To repeal the 22nd Amendment, again, that's the one that says that a president can only serve 2 terms, they need 38, not states, they need control of 38 legislatures, okay? So that's the 2 sides of the House in each state. It surprised you to know that Republicans already have control of 27 state legislatures. In 2010, they had 15 states. In 2025, they have 27 states, and they only need 38. And these elections, the ones that they're quietly winning, these are the ones that have a GOP favor turnout, okay? Meaning that more Republicans go out and vote in these sort of off-year midterm elections, which automatically gives them a bump. Then you add to that gerrymandering, the Supreme Court VRA, y'all see the pattern, right? They're quietly turning these state legislatures Republican. Guys, you don't have to believe me. There's a group called the RSLC, Republican State Leadership Committee, and they have already pledged $200 million for the 25-26 initiatives for projects like Project Door Strike, a hyper-local voter mobilization movement, and they are targeting low-propensity Republican, meaning voters that don't usually turn out. They're going to try to get them to get out so that they can quietly flip more of these state legislatures. And their 2026 hit list, full control in Pennsylvania, just needs the House. Michigan, razor-thin Dem majorities in both houses. Minnesota, tied House, slim Senate. Translation, all of those things are in play. That's what they're doing. They're going in and just quietly flipping these legislatures. Guys, these aren't pipe dreams. The RSLC flipped chambers in Arizona, North Carolina, and New Hampshire in 2024 alone. So they only need 11 more states to get to 38 state legislatures, which would give them permanent ratification power, because you need 34 states to propose the amendment, you need 38 to ratify it. And that, it doesn't have to go to Congress. It doesn't have anything to do with the governors. They don't have veto power. You only have to have control of 38 state legislatures, and you can change the Constitution. Guys, this is already in play. The Convention of States, a GOP-backed push for an Article 5 convention, this exists. This is already happening in the background. And as of October 2025, the COS, that convention, already has 19 red states signed on. And the Heritage Foundation calls this COS movement the supercharger for this entire plan. So Bannon's vision isn't specifically about getting Trump back in office. It's about making the presidency so powerful that it never ever has to leave. Because to them, this isn't corruption. It's reclaiming the America that they think that the founders wanted. White, Christian, patriarchal, and permanent.